Hello guys. It's been a very long time. Well, not too long. I put a shitty video up a couple weeks ago. It was very unedited because the one I was editing, well, Adobe messed up. I need to get more RAM on my computer to actually continue making videos. It is time for another blog post though. I am not sure if I'm doing writing in addition to this because I'm posting this first. But this weekend I went to an LGBTQ plus conference. If you don't know what that is, that's like rights for, transgender people, gay people, lesbian people, bisexual people, demisexual people, asexual people, gender non-binary people, trans non-binary people, and trans women. The list could go on and on and on. And I want to talk about it because it was probably the coolest thing I've done in a really, really long time. So this conference happened in Asheville, North Carolina, which is where I was born. So I was very excited to learn that Asheville actually hosted things like this. I knew they were big in the LGBTQ plus community, but I didn't know they were quite that big. And that was very, very exciting to me, and I'm so glad I went. I got some really cool buttons. So if you see, so this is a pronoun button, and the reason we had those was so that, we were more open about our pronouns and people didn't feel like they had to ask all the time. We didn't feel like we had to talk about it and explain it. We just went, oh, well, look at the button, they, them. I mean, sometimes we were asked to say it if we were all sitting in a big group and we were talking in a panel. But other than that, people would just look at the pronoun button. And we got these buttons. There was another option, there were other ones besides this button, but this is the one I picked. Y'all means all, because this is the South Conference, and in the US, y'all means you all, and it's just cute. But anyways, it was very fun, and it was the first time that I really got to experiment with my new pronouns and see how I like them, and I like them a lot, as it turns out. So yeah, it was great. And I got a cool t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. It says, be fearlessly authentic, which I love, being fearlessly authentic. There were several other options for t-shirts, of course, but this one was $12 and I didn't have, more money for more t-shirts. But it was very fun. And the one thing that there were several things that I thought were really cool about it, but I wanted to talk about one thing that really seemed to be the most important, at least to me, was that, there were a bunch of young people there, people my age, 20s, 30s, but there were also a bunch of people from a much older generation of the LGBTQ community, people in their 50s, their 60s, and even their 70s. And I think it was so great that they were there because, these guys are the backbone of what we do and, what this community has accomplished. And it was just so nice to hear their stories and to have them there supporting us. And, this is thanks to them. They thought it was great that, we now have the opportunity to be more expressive in who we are, and we have all this different terminology that they didn't have when they were our age. Most of them couldn't come out when they were our age because unless they wanted to get killed or excommunicated or whatever happened, depending on the story, or kicked out of the family. And it was just so nice to hear them talk about it, and to it just learn more, because I grew up in Asheville, which is a pretty open place, so it was like living in a little bubble. I didn't really see anything bad happen, and I still haven't seen anything bad happen, which is good, but I'm sure that will happen. And it was eye-opening to hear all these other stories where bad things do happen, and the fact that they worked through it and how they worked through it. Maybe I can apply this later in my life. What else happened? There are a lot of cute people there. Yes, lots of cute people. I met a person named Chris who is also identifying as gender non-binary or gender queer. And that person smelled really nice. That might sound weird, but I identify people with smells, and I don't exactly know how to describe how this person smelled. Just very clean and, I don't know, nice. It's just the best way I can think of how to describe them. But anyways, Chris, who smelled good. And there was another man whose first name I can't remember, but his last name I can, Li, very common Chinese name. He is from China, but right now he lives in North Carolina with his husband. And he was also lovely to talk to. He was from an older generation of the LGBTQ community. He was probably in his, I don't know, 40s. And he was lovely. He told us his coming out story, which, you know, across cultures can be very different, and it was. But, you know, at first his family was not accepting. They wanted to send him to hospitals to get him medicine to cure his gay. At least his parents and his siblings were pretty accepting. There were also a lot of like panels for Latino LGBTQ and Black LGBTQ. Yeah, it was all encompassing, which was very, very nice. You know, it didn't just, you know, it wasn't just white people or, you know, females or males. It was everybody. You know, because these rights are human rights, because we are human. Yes, we are not things, we are not its, we are people. Please do not try to medicate us, because that's not what we need. It was just lovely. I hope I may not get a chance to go to that specific panel again, but I hope, or not panel, conference. I call it a panel because it was set up very much like a con, a gay con. You know, I hope that there are other opportunities for me to go to things very similar to that, because that was fun. That was great. Met a lot of cool people. Got some people interested in my blog, which is fantastic. They've already looked at it. And I'm hopefully I haven't posted much materials recently, so I'm going to post this video in hopes that there's just more material out there. Oh yes, so I didn't really show you in my last video because it was so short and whatnot, but I got my hair cut even shorter. No, it's not, I mean, I still got length. I'm keeping it up in a bun. Well, we'll take it down right now, but I had to style it like this today. But yeah, that's what my hair looks like. It's kind of shaved around, and it looks really messy right now because it's not been washed in a couple of days. That's why I'm keeping it up in a bun. But it's shaved all around the back and the side. I mean, it's not buzzed, it's shaved down with scissors, so it's still pretty thick, and my hair grows fast, so I've got to get it cut in a couple of weeks. Yeah, in a couple of weeks. So there you go. That is what's going on. I will continue to try and post. You know, I've been super busy lately because I've actually been doing my homework, which unfortunately means that I can't do this as often. But yeah, I'll continue to post things when I get the chance. I'll continue to talk about all this stuff that's going on, and if I know of more conventions that you can go to for things like LGBT South or just any other LGBTQ plus conference, I will put information on my blog, on my Facebook pages, and anywhere else that I might have social media, Twitter, and my Ask FM. You can ask me there about them. I just got a Patreon. I'm not doing anything on it because I only got it to follow around and subscribe to one person. And I'm only doing it, you know, I know it might seem selfish because it's like I'm only putting out $1 and I wish I could put out more. But the reason I'm only doing it for one person for $1 is because if I really subscribe to all the people that I want to, even if it was just for $1, I would end up paying, like, you know, most of the money that I have, and I can't do that because I need that for food. So follow me around on Patreon if you want. I'm not doing anything. If you follow me around, you'll find that I am following Damien Valtiel. If you want to follow Damien as well, please support him. He's also wonderful and adorable 21-year-old. Anyways, yeah, follow him around. Don't stalk him, just politely follow. Yes, let's politely stalk Damien. That's all for now. I'll see you guys some other time, some other place, some other dimension, some other convention. That rhymed. Bye.